Brian, how's it going? Let me see if you can hear me.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. I can hear you too. Good to go.
perfect.
Great. All right, man. So let me pull up your questions here. So I see that you did you start your FTM already, or you're still in the process?
No, I'm still in the process of just trying to get the proper structure in place. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a good thing because a lot of people like to jump into it right away, and they make a lot of mistakes to end up losing like on their first couple trades. So it's good that you're holding off first. But you've registered for it already, right? You have your login and stuff.
For FTMO?
Yeah.
No, not currently, no.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's cool. So I'm just gonna go over your so you said details covered tonight. FTMO challenge 800K, which is the 100K account. Not confident with UK 100 strategy. Yeah. So for the UK 100 strategy, it hasn't been fully back tested yet. So to be on the safe side, I recommend just taking the US 30 trades. That's all I'm taking on my own.
Yeah, that
So yeah. So
and
you
that's
should.
what I've been doing, yeah.
Exactly. And you should be perfectly fine if you do that because you're pretty much going to be taking, the same exact trades that I'm taking on my own account. So
Right.
let me see if there's anything else here that you're going to cover. Zone strategy and the risk management strategy. Okay, perfect. So do you only plan on trading on your FTMO or do you plan on trading separately for your Forex trades?
Yeah, no, for the Forex trades, what I was proposing to do was just do some Forex.
Okay, also on your FTMO?
I'm not sure. I really kind of want to find the best structure to pass the FDMO. Now, if I was going to take currency trades on the FDMO, I would probably reduce the risk size down to 1%.
Definitely, yeah. So that was going to be my main question because for me, I only trade US 30 on mine. So my risk is going to be different from yours if you decide to trade Forex on your account as well. The main problem with trading Forex on your account is the risk, like we mentioned, because if you have many trades running at once and they're all in drawdown, you can get close to reaching your max daily loss, which is about 5,000 USD. So for the normal US 30 trade, I usually take about a 15 lot size, which is 1.5, and then you multiply that by 1,500 pips. So my total risk is 2,250 already at that time. If you decide to trade Forex, depending on how many trades you plan to take, um, I wouldn't I wouldn't go over your risk of more than 3,000 because if you go over 3,000, that's when you get close to reaching the 5,000 limit, and that's somewhere like you don't want to be anywhere near that, so that
No,
you'll never have any issues with FTMO having some errors sometimes where your trades kind of they kind of overlap because the way that their system works is they work off CES time. So I'm not sure what the CES time is compared to yours, but for me, that's around noon my time. So I try to get out of all of my trades by noon, and then
okay.
I let that reset to the next to the next day because each day you can only lose a max 5,000. Say if you're in some drawdown of 3,000 for the first day, and then it goes into the next day, but you still have that trade active, right? If that
Yeah.
happens, your drawdown carries over. So if you have 3,000 for one day and you think that the day you can actually reach your 5,000 daily loss limit and then you can lose your account. So does that make sense to you?
Yeah, but the central
Okay.
time that they CES time that they use is that Central European time, is it?
Yes, that's correct. Because I think they're
I said,
located in the Czech Republic. So I think that's the time that they run off.
yeah, that's only 1 hour ahead of us.
Oh, then you're perfectly fine then. Yeah. So it
Yeah,
shouldn't be an issue for you. You should just be aware that at that time you should probably close all of your positions. I usually don't like holding positions over to the next day. because that's where the issue comes in, where your drawdown will carry over to the next day, and that's something that you just want to make sure never happens.
Okay, so that the Central European time then there is what time is the Central European time with them?
Yeah, so it'll be Central European time midnight, I believe. So let me see if I could pull up the time zone converter here.
Okay.
Uh, so I think I have it here on my computer. Let
Yeah,
me
I
see.
think that's 11. That'd be 11 p.m. here.
Yeah, so for me, let's see if I can CES time. Yeah, that's right. So it'd probably be around if I do 1 a.m. or if I do 12 a.m. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's about 2 p.m. my time. So
Yeah.
around 2 p.m. my time, that's when it converts over to the next following day. So for you, I guess it would
Okay.
be you'd
That
only
would
yeah.
that that's 10 p.m. then, is it?
Oh, for you? Okay, yeah. So you're in let's see, Ireland.
Or so what time are you? 10, 15
Oh yeah,
a.m.
yeah. So they're 2 hours ahead of you. So just keep in mind that whenever it reaches 10 p.m. your time, that the clock is going to be resetting for FTMO.
Yeah. So it's really the same as I see markets with the changeover.
Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so you know how it works for them as well.
Yeah. So if I'm in trades, I'm out of it by then anyway. Unless it's um, I wouldn't be in any indices after that.
Gotcha. Okay. No, yeah, yeah. So you're already familiar with it. Yeah. So you should be good. That's probably the main thing. I think the main problem with a lot of people is they forget to close their trades before the following day, and then they end up going to some heavy drawdown the following day, and then they lose their account for technicality. So that's just one thing that you want to look out for. So
Okay.
with regard to your question with risk management, you should probably use um, maybe one, yeah, like you said, 1% for indices and then 1% for your Forex trades as well. There's no problem with you running multiple positions as long as you're paying attention. Because a lot of people, they take like, 10 trades at a time and they don't know what's going on. And then they end up going into like some heavy drawdown. But if you're able
Yeah.
to, pay attention to your trades and you understand where the risk is, then you should be perfectly fine taking both Forex and indices. I'm thinking about doing it myself as well because our Forex trades just keep hitting. They've been really good. So I think it'd be
Yeah.
beneficial if I was.
Yeah, and that that was one of the reasons I was looking at it. But also I was thinking of maybe running this one, maybe running it on the US 30 solely. Forget about the Forex trades. I'm just traded on my personal account.
Oh, that's what I do. Yeah. So that's exactly what I do. For my FTMO, it's strictly US 30 so that I understand the risk. And, the win rate on US 30 is so high that instead of me, just taking the same lot size, I can always increase if I feel very confident. So for FTMO, I only trade US 30. And then for my personal account, I trade the Forex trades because for that, I can let run, for as long as I need to. The main problem with FTMO is you can't hold trades over the weekend. So, sometimes if you take a Forex trade, say maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, and
Yeah.
then the market closes, if you're in some drawdown, you're going to have to close it. So that's why I don't like holding, long-term trades on FTMO.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm not really, I'm not really a lover of holding the trades over the weekend anyway.
Yeah, same here. Because, when you come back from the weekend, you never know what's going to happen. Like something could happen in another country, it causes price to spike in one direction or the other.
Yeah.
So it's just too risky. And it makes sense why FTMO doesn't allow it because they don't want you to be in profit and then they come back to your account on Sunday and the account is heavily in some drawdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer a 0.5% loss than a heavier drawdown and a 1% loss, or the possibility of a 1% win. So I
Oh
closed them out.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'd rather get out, take the loss, and then come back to it next week. But as long as you keep the account, that's probably the main thing.
Yeah, that's it. So with the FTMO trades on the US, you're saying on your live streams that 15 lots is what you use, is it?
Yeah, so I use 15 lots. Before I used to go even higher. I would go maybe 25 to maybe 30 lots in some instances. So for example, if I'm trading a 25 lot size, I'm able to lock in about 3,750. This gets pretty close to the max daily loss, but not quite there. The reason I did this is so you can pass FTMO rather quickly. But in reality, if you just do a 15 lot, it's perfectly fine because it only requires about 4.5 trades or 4.5 wins for you to pass FTMO because you need 10,000 to pass, obviously.
Yeah.
So you can do either way, just depending on what risk you want to use. Uh, Generally, if you get closer to your deadline, because they give you 30 days, but in reality, the 30 days isn't really 30 days because
No.
you have to factor in the weekends. That's like 4 days
Yes.
plus Saturday, Friday. You knock off another maybe 4 days, and you don't have much time. So if you're running close to your limit, then of course increase your lot size. But once you become funded, I would just keep it at 15. 15 is the sweet
Yeah.
spot.
No. I'd be very content with that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Because say, we take 3 trades, like normally we trade 5 times a week, US 30. Say we have 3 wins. So we multiply this by or we say we have 4 wins and then we have 1 loss. You subtract that by 2,250. Weekly, you can make, about 6,750 a week. And then if you multiply that by 4 weeks, out of a month, you can lock in a pretty nice profit for just one account.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think during challenge you could be a little more risky, take bigger lot size so you can make sure that you pass. But once you become funded, I think you should always be content with how many profits you make. It doesn't matter if you make $1, if you make 100, you make 1,000. It's still going to be free profit at that point.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely. Yeah.
exactly, once you're funded, you don't have any more risk. It's all risk free because you get your refund back as well. So your deposit that you put for the challenge, you'll get that back or you can get another account. Like for me, instead of getting the deposit, I just took another account. So now I have
Yeah.
two.
Just roll it. Yeah. Just roll it over.
Exactly. And once you have 2 accounts, instead of having this, you can multiply that by 2. There's your profits there. You make so much more profit that way.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think in reality, Shawn, though, that if we follow the FTMO with the US 30 trades, okay, historically I've been looking back and you have a very good success rate with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's why for me, I like to continue with, normal risk, but I might increase it eventually. Right now, because I'm still working on my third one. So once I have my 300K account, like 3 of my accounts merged together, then I'll start to increase my risk because then I could take all of them on one account versus me copying them to separate accounts.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Because of the win rate's so high that, we know that losses will come eventually. It happens. It's just, it's trading. So if you just take every trade and, at the end of the month, you're in profit, you're still going to be heavily in profit overall, whether you take, every trade at the same risk or you increase the risk as well. Because it usually bounces back. I think you've seen the results. We never really have more than 2 back-to-back losses. So um, generally, once we get to that point, we'll have better opportunity of making that money back
yeah,
for the following trade.
yeah. Um, okay, so and are are you trading on a Friday? I don't think you trade on a Friday. I know
Uh,
you're live on Friday.
yeah, usually not. I usually don't trade on Friday because the whole situation with the weekend, I don't want to enter a trade, close to market close, and then it goes into drawdown as we get closer to, uh, the market. Because generally, the market opens at 6:30. So basically, if the trade comes like around 10 o'clock, it's too late, and then you only have maybe 2 or 3 hours before you can exit that trade before it ends up the
Yeah,
market
exactly.
closing. Yeah. So I don't like to risk it on Friday. Sometimes if the trade comes very early, like today, the trade came at 6:40, like right after market open, then
Yeah,
I'll take the trade. But if it comes like 9 o'clock, maybe even 10 o'clock is too late. 9 o'clock is getting kind of late. But if it's between that time, then I'll just skip it. But most of the time I don't take it just because, for that specific reason.
sorry, Sean. Sorry. Yeah, you can in the hall. Yeah, yeah, no problem. Um, My daughter does dancing, so she's playing music.
Okay,
So
no
hear
problem.
mu- if you hear music in the background, she's ballroom dancing, or she could be doing Latin or something like that. But it'll be entertaining anyway. Um,
Right? Nice.
um, yeah, that's cool, and uh, that's basically what my aim is with the challenge. Okay, and the
Mhm.
aim would be to pass the challenge then and roll over the fee for trying to take another challenge as soon as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. Like for me, I staggered it. So once I passed, I started my other one, and then I copy like I use a copier. So I have my master account, which is my funded account, and then it copies over to all of my other accounts. It copies to my other FTMO, also copies over to my personal account as well. So in reality, I'm trading like five US 30 trades at once. I'm trading like
Yeah,
two funded, one challenge, and then two personal accounts.
yeah.
Uh, and it works pretty nicely. But I think it would be a lot better. Like once I have that third one, I just merge it so I don't have to copy anymore because that creates room for error. If the copier doesn't work.
Well, so that's through Social Trader, is it?
Yes. So I use social trading tools, I believe. I
Yeah.
think you can connect like one account for free, and then if you want to connect more, you just have to pay the fee. But the fee's not that much. I think it's like 40 or $50. It'll you
Yeah,
cover
that's all. Yeah,
the trader.
20
So
bucks a month or 30, yeah, something like that. It's not
exactly.
major. Um, yeah, basically, yeah, that that's grand. That would be the plan. And I have been looking back at the back tests on the UK 100, and I'd just like to see it a little bit more refined before I'd be confident enough in taking some of the trades. I wouldn't risk it for FTMO at the moment.
Yeah, I agree exactly. So tomorrow I'm actually meeting with the backtest group and the London group. We're going to review their strategy, and then I'm going to make suggestions for us to increase the win rate for that strategy. Obviously, US 30 is something that I trade. I've backtested to this maybe about like 10 years of data, so I know that it works. Like I know throughout the years, every year is different, but it eventually balances out towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm going to be doing with the London group. I think tomorrow afternoon we're going to be doing some tests, and I'm going to be looking at their strategy and see what needs to be changed. Because obviously there's changes that can be made that can fix it. Um, but overall, yeah, I would probably be careful with UK 100 until you're comfortable with it. I'm not even comfortable with myself, so I don't even take it. That might be a sign to you to maybe be careful with that for now.
yeah. Well, I kind of it. I've noticed. I've noticed with the strategy, it could be good. It could be. I think the guys are onto something. But I've actually watched a few of the trades lately, and the trade that happened at the very beginning of the open, just after the first trade after the open, which is 8 a.m. here, um, it often swings back, and it swung back yesterday and today.
Yeah, I noticed that. I saw that it swung back and it hit stop loss, and then it ended up going straight to the TP. So
Yeah,
I think one of the things that I might need to work with them about is maybe finding the sweet spot. Like for me, for US 30, the US market technically opens at 5:30, but I've done my testing like so far back in data that I found 6:30 to be the actual sweet spot. Well, the candle after 6:30. So
yeah, because the 530 is the futures market anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. The 530 is the futures market, and then the actual stock market, which directly correlates with US 30, is
yeah,
6:30 my time. So that's why it works out better. The problem with the UK 100 is I'm not familiar with the stock market out there. So I'm not sure. I know London opens midnight our time. That's when the actual the market opens. I'm not sure
yeah,
if
that's 8 a.m. here. So
yeah.
um,
Do you know if the stock market opens at a different time there, or is it the same?
no, it opens at the same time.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so now that clears up one of the questions I probably would have had for that because I tried to Google it. It's funny. I looked up. I did my research, and there's no information where it shows when the market
Yeah,
opens.
there's often what they call pre-market movements at 7 a.m., which is 1 hour before that. So it would be 11 p.m. for you guys. And
Gotcha.
that seems to be, there is a pre-market move, and it, you can see even this morning, if they looked at the pre-market at 7 o'clock, there was a false sell signal, and on the 10 minutes time frame, and then they took, in fairness, they took their trade at 8 a.m., which was the 8:10, which would be 8:10, 10 minutes after the market opened. But it literally, even from the message point of view, I'd say by the time the guys had it typed out, it was gone 5 or 6 pips, maybe 8 pips into profit, but it automatically then came back. So no matter whether they got a straight entry in at 6596 or something like that, there was no great room for locking in TP1 or anything to manage the trade. And basically, at 11:50, oh, that was yesterday. Sorry, wrong time, wrong month, wrong chart. But this morning was. Turn up.
Yeah, I did notice that. I see like they took the signal at the 10 minutes
Yeah,
after.
they took the sell off the 8:10 candle this morning, and it literally didn't move. Moved 1 or 2 pips straight back into drawdown and straight took out to take profit. And then on the next candle, it shot off.
Yeah, it shot up
It shot
heavily.
up.
It looked like, yeah.
Oh, I mean, they would have had 60 pips profit or 600 pips profit, wherever you don't want to look at it. They would have had that in an hour, a little over an hour.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. It looks like, yeah, because I did see the signal when they sent it, and it looks like it hit stop loss like right after they.
It
Yeah,
did
so,
at 100%. I was watching it actually.
yeah,
I watched the signal coming in, and I watched the trade. And in fairness, it was taken out in a matter of minutes.
yeah, it spiked up immediately on that following 10-minute candle. Looks like
So I don't know whether looking at it going back, it doesn't seem to work as consistent as the US 30 on the first candle after the open. Directly after the open, it seems to work a little bit better on the reversal. You know the way you've been looking at it. I was looking at your system before you actually said that you were tweaking it. Where you get you get one signal, and then you look for the reversal on that signal then as a false signal.
exactly. Yeah, like
if you go back even to 2 a.m. on that, and it gives a false buy signal. So 2 a.m. is back for you.
right here, yeah.
False buy signal, and then back to the open, it gives a sell signal. So I don't know, even based on, and I know that is in the Asian session, and I know this, but it's still market manipulation anyway. So you're looking at, should it really break that support level or something like that, and then you have your trade? Should it break?
Yeah. So like the new addition to the strategy that I was discussing, we would need like for right here, this is where the previous buy signal was. This sell would have to close below here for it to be valid. So the thing is, if we applied that for today's entry, this loss could have been avoided.
Yeah, that was exactly that's exactly what I have been watching, looking back testing it, and I found that seems to be a higher success rate.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what I'm going to be covering with the London group tomorrow, because it looks like they don't completely understand it just yet, because I haven't really discussed it with them, but it looks like that could it can be a big factor in determining you know, when
Yeah,
to
and
eliminate the losses basically.
absolutely. And then the other thing, I think it's just, I was only playing around with it, was looking at the 5 minutes for the London session.
Oh, for the UK.
Yeah, just as
Oh yeah, so it looks like yeah, if you waited for on like for the next candle following it, it looks like it would have this one would
yeah,
have
because
hit.
it was a false buy and watch it and up, you know, once it broke up the structure.
Yeah, this looks good actually. Yeah, I think this is a the thing too with the UK 100 is that we haven't like for US 30, I tried all of the time frames. So I saw, you know, what the win rate was for each time frame. That's one
Yeah,
thing that we haven't done for UK 100. So maybe the 10-minute isn't the best time frame for it. Um,
it may be a little, if you have got, say, kind of a rangy, choppy open or something like that.
mhm.
It may be that it doesn't give you the opportunity to enter it. You can be chopped out in the 10 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. When it's choppy in the beginning and it's just going back and forth, easy for you to get kicked.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to yesterday, um, on yesterday's chart on the 5th, um, so we go back to the open on this, or yeah,
Oh, there we go. The open is right here.
on a 5 minute chart there. Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Right there on the 5 minute. So yeah, the signal was right on it. I know for the London group, they like to take the opening signal. So right here, if you were to take this on the 5 minute, I mean, this probably would have hit, you know, full TP as well, I believe. I think TP is usually around 600 pips.
Generally around 600 pips, but you it didn't quite hit it, but you could manage to trade. It hit it after, yes. If you've done it, if you're prepared to do, your risk is just leave a straight a straight stop loss and take profit and just sit it out. It does work a lot of the time.
Yeah, it looks like this was like a fake out too. Kind of went in one direction, came down, hit it, just barely tipped the stop loss, and then it went straight up.
Yeah.
So if we go on
So
the 10-minute, let me see if it's different on here. Oh yeah, it was the same situation here. Same thing on the 10-minute and the 5 minute.
yeah,
It just seems like there was market being manipulated at that time because there was usually when the move is very big like this, I try to avoid it because when this happens, it usually pulls back, you know, quite a bit before it ends
yeah,
up going
yeah,
in that direction because it always has to, you know, if it pushes up like from here, this was like about 1,000 pips already. So when it pushes up that far, usually pulls back a little bit before it ends up continuing up further. So maybe like for something like this, if this happens, maybe skip the first initial signal because it looks like if you were to skip the initial signal and then you would skip this one because it's invalid and it didn't
invalid, and take the next, yeah, take the next buy, which was which is a valid one because it closed above the fake
love
out.
it. Yeah, exactly. That would have been perfect right there, straight to the money.
Yeah,
No drawdown at all. Yeah, that's actually a really good thing to take into consideration because it looks like yeah, it does hit full TP over there, 600
yeah,
pips.
it does, it the open of the market was too fast, just in my opinion. But that I haven't, I've back tested it, I've looked at it, and I've just seen that it seemed that if you wait a little bit, there's better opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. And that's good that you're able to spot this because even yourself, you know, when you take the trades yourself and you're able to identify it looks like the new edition makes a big difference in the market. You know, if you, it looks like you're
Yeah, I
eliminating.
think so, because especially with the fake outs, you know what I mean? Like the false signal works really well if you concentrate on what you're doing in 10 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Yeah, this is really good. This is something that I would have to, you know, back test more. And then maybe yourself too, if you wanted to back test it, you could probably find a lot of entries this way. Uh, but it does look good.
Yeah, and I think I'd be very interested to find out how the guys came up with the 200 pips to the 600.
Yeah,
Um,
me too. I wonder that too, because usually for me, I like there to be a lot more cushion because if the trade's going to go in that direction, it's going to go there eventually. That's why for like US 30 here, even if we have like no drawdown, it it gives you enough space because we know that price is eventually going to reach that point.
Yeah,
So that's why I have it. But yeah, no, I agree with you. So I need to talk to Mark about that because this is Mark's idea. Mark is like one of the members here.
yeah,
He's the one that figured this out. He just basically poured it over my US 30 strategy, and this made slight differences to it. The on the actual open candle, and then on top of that, um, the risk to reward. So I'll probably talk with him about that tomorrow, and I'll see. But I guess 200 is usually the sweet spot for like where it gets stopped out. So maybe that's why he.
yeah. And he's probably 100% correct.
Mhm.
It's just looking at it. The immediate candle on the open, it I'm not sure. It has had some success, but I'm not 100%.
Exactly. I think maybe also if we were to enter on the opening candle, maybe, and if it's a big move like this,
Yeah,
maybe
I think it
give it
needs to
more,
stay out. Yeah,
yeah, stay out or give more cushion because it looks like you should probably have stop loss at least halfway, like half of the candle or just that opening candle like that. Because it looks like if we had 600 to 600 normal one to one that I, apply for US 30, it looks like it could have, yes, survived this move and made it up that way.
yeah. But maybe the guys are just maybe they're just saying okay. And I know some of the guys on the group are saying the same thing. Okay, that look at one win can take three losses. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If the strategy isn't like as high win rate as US 30, because for us, I know the win rate for it, so I'm able to take that risk because I'm fine with losing one trade, and then usually just make it back to the next couple of trades after that.
yeah, absolutely. No, I'm very confident with the US 30. I'm not saying that I wouldn't knock off. The fact is that the UK 100 could be very lucrative, and I know that the guys will have looked at back testing, and also when you're live trading, it's a different situation as well. So you will actually think um, that the trades are working out better than they are, but when you back test them, but maybe in reality we just have to look at it and see whether it's better to watch for a reversal or something like that.
Exactly, I agree. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think UK 100 it needs a bit more testing, I think, but over time, we'll be able to figure out a lot more, just testing it more and more. And then we have
Yeah,
a
I
whole
think
year.
so. I
Yeah,
think so, and probably it's probably one that if you look at it over the course of 5 6 hours, 4 or 5 hours on a session, it probably is one that you could recover after your 20 pip loss, your 200 pip loss. It may be one that you can enter in a second entry.
exactly. I was thinking that too. So like, if you lost this one, you can try the next one and then make it back basically.
Yeah, that it's and like I think from the back test on it, I think it worked fairly well on the back. I think if I go back and look on some of my sheets, it probably worked very well. I think in December, which was highly unusual.
Yeah, because December was it was a slow period, but I know that they were hitting a lot of TPs because I know US 30 was moving a little slow due to the holidays, but I know they were taking the trades and they were still hitting profits with the December trades over here.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to the 1st of December and stuff like that, they were actually.
Yeah, the first week of December was actually very good for all of our trades. I think we had like a whole straight week of all wins for US 30 and then also for UK 100. So it was a
Yeah,
gold
no, it was
December.
massive because that's when I first came across your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah.
it,
By chance, by good chance, you
by
found.
good,
Yeah,
by actually good chance, yeah, yeah, absolutely. But if you look at some of those opens, they, um, the 1st of December there, they hit nice trades, like,
yeah. It looks like they all hit full TP. Like here, full TP. Uh,
yeah,
Again, right here, full TP. Like it seems that like sometimes we have some hot streaks where we just have a lot of back-to-back wins. That's why it's always important to take every trade. Like here again, full TP. Yeah, it's a lot of back-to-back full TPs here for UK 100.
yeah, a lot of them based on the guys, uh, 1 to 3 reward, like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with the risk reward that they use, it works very well for this specific asset.
yeah, I mean that, there was one of the days where it just took off, and I think that the trade was over in 10 or 15, 10 or 20 minutes.
I think it was right here, maybe the first day on the first.
Yeah, crazy. It was crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that one. Yeah, and I think, yeah, there was a couple of them that were over within in an hour, couple of hours. Which were,
yeah, that's
that
crazy.
one there, that just dropped.
This one dropped heavily. Yeah. I think we're trying to figure out a way to let the positions run too. Because like for example, here, if we were to take off the target, we can ride it all the way down. Same with over here. If you remove the target and just continue to move, your stop loss, there's a ton of
Yeah,
profit that could be made off these specific moves. Like even this one.
when it moves well. It actually moves to the 600 pip mark fairly easy. And I think from back testing it myself, I think around the 80 mark, 800 mark is kind of a sweet spot, like, on it.
Yeah, like where it slows down, right? Yeah, that looks like
Yeah,
we can probably reach
seems,
for a farther target if that's the case.
well, you definitely could go to your 40 then and trail it by 22. You could go to your 400 and trail it by 200 up, and then maybe have a final TP at 80 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It looks very, very good. It's very lucrative, especially with this risk reward, 200 to 800. It,
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit, it is. And I think once it hits, um, there are times where it you have to if you make the decision to either, one of the guys on the group said that he makes a decision, and his decision is 200 pips or 20 pips, whatever, and 20, 60, that's his. When it hits either or, he's happy.
yeah. And especially with the win rate, we don't lose very much for UK 100 either. So the thing is, if you were to lose, one trade, 200 risk, you can still continue on and make it back with like one or two trades after that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that from what I have noticed on it, is that, is there a possibility of a re-entry? You
I think
know,
there is, especially as because it goes from London until US session. Because generally, when it pushes from London to US session, it usually continues like from here up until here. Well, obviously it consolidated right here, but looking at it right here, it usually goes even further. Like right here, it goes from bullish move up until US session over here, 6:30, and then it just continues up even further. So like if you were to move your, stop loss up here, get out of your trade, or even into your second position, it looks like you could have even taken it in the opposite direction over here. So we have the buy here, hit your full TP, and you take another one down here for a sell during US session
yeah. The only thing that
after
I found,
6:30.
the only thing that,
But I mean,
that
yeah,
I,
this would be something a little more advanced for us to look into
yeah,
trading into separate sessions. Me personally, I never really recommend trading into a session where that
hello.
Hey, Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Sorry,
hear you now. Mate. Yeah, yeah,
from the internet shortly. Okay, so I think we're good. Yeah, so I was saying the way that the UK 100 moves is it usually moves for it has like a bullish or bearish momentum move, like some impulse move, and then it goes into some consolidation. Like it pushes down one
yeah,
direction, and then it goes into consolidation, and then it usually either corrects back or it continues.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, this is definitely something that I'd have to look into more deeply with.
Yeah, and that's the reason that I said I hadn't had enough confidence in it. But that's possibly because I'm not seeing the full picture either. So
Exactly. Yeah. I think we don't have enough data on it yet because for the
yeah.
US 30, I have a whole year's data of the trades that we've taken, like actual live trades. So we
And
know that.
what was the success rate on that, John? I know that you said it one day in the in
Yeah,
the live
yeah,
sessions.
let me check real quick. So this isn't even the whole year. It's only from May because I just started trading US 30 recently. So like, yeah, looking over here from May until December, we had a total of 91 wins plus 25 losses. So we had a total of 116 wins. We divide 91 divided by 116. Looks like we had about 79% win rate for US 30.
Yeah, sure. That's
So that's actually pretty high. A lot of these losses here were my mistake too. I started to realize, things along the way because the strategy was still new to me around May. So
yeah,
I think around this time, like July, I made mistakes there because I was trading on Fridays. I was trading on days that I probably shouldn't have been trading. But
yeah,
overall, I learned from it, and then now we've developed this win rate, so we can see exactly what our baseline is. So from May, I think if we were to increase this like from January up until May, it'd probably be a lot higher. It'd probably be maybe around 82%, maybe 84%. And
yeah.
then if I was to implement the new requirement that I've been, discussing, that could probably increase it even higher. So, I mean, we'll see how
Yeah,
that plays out.
but
Um,
absolutely. I mean, that's a winning formula without any other strategy.
exactly. And the cool thing about the strategy is that it's just once a day, so you can literally take this trade once a day, you know, go on with your
Yeah,
day.
well, you just have to be at your desk at at your station or whatever. I know it's early for you guys, but it's afternoon for us over here. Like,
Oh, it's perfect for you then, huh? You have your whole day already, and then you just take that trade, and you're pretty much done for the day.
well, that's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
there's
that's why.
another. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, that's why some of the time when you guys are sending in signals during the Asian session or something like that, we're sleeping. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's better because the Asia session is slow anyway, so it's not really a great time to trade it to begin with. So you actually
yeah,
have a
that's.
better time zone out there
But
with.
yeah, well, luckily, I suppose rather than I don't want to hold you up too much because I know you've been on the live stream and you've done a lot of work on it. In a great successful trade today as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah, today was great. I mean, this whole week has been great, thankfully, because usually the first week of January it's kind of iffy. Some people are scared to trade. People want to sit out the market. Thankfully, we traded, so everything's been hitting, and it's been great overall for the most part.
yeah, there's a FOMC. It'll be coming up now in 10 minutes or so or less.
Yeah.
Um, the I suppose the other thing that I've looked at all your strategies and every one of them are successful. Um, and that's no mean feat for anyone to come up with those strategies. Have to say that if somebody sits down and they look and they study any of the strategies, they'll make money on it if they follow them correctly.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the whole point of with the K2 strategies. We try to make it like as high as simple as possible and also like the highest win rate because it's more like, when you start to trade for a long time, you start to notice that it becomes a numbers game. It's more so how many trades can you win? How many losses can you avoid? Because the better the win rate, and if you do the same thing every single day, it ends up being very profitable at the end of every week, the end of every month, the end of every year. So
Yeah, that's it. And then I suppose the one that, from a time point of view, is the zone strategy, 4 hour time frame.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. So have you started applying it yet, or is it still like new to you?
No, it is new, but it's with the support and resistance indicator, it makes marking up the charts a lot easier.
Oh yeah, it makes it so much easier because all you do is you draw the zones up, and then once you have that, you can basically pick a storyline. You can see how price has been moving, if it's
Yeah,
bullish, if it's consolidating, if it's bearish, and it makes it a lot easier for you to predict what's going to happen next most of the time.
yeah, and then it's when you put then the indicator onto it, then and it gives a buy or a sell signal. You know,
Mhm.
that's adding extra confluence in what your markup on your chart is. So it's giving you a higher probability. Now, and we all know that not all trades are going to win.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing with this strategy too is that since we traded, well, I personally trade on the 4 hour because usually there's not as much noise on here. So like when I started trading this, I just thought of the strategy this year as well. So earlier this year in January, I was trading on the 30-minute chart, and I was like, man, I hate being on the chart, all day. So I switched
Yeah,
from the 30-minute to the 4 hour, and I realized that this thing is very accurate. It's like so accurate where you can just let it run. Basically, you can take the trade and just let it be and let it run to full TP, because like after documenting the results, it actually hits full TP more often than it does stop loss, obviously. And if you're using proper risk, you should
yeah,
always
that's exactly, and that's it. And I mean, how many pairs do you? I know I looked at it, and I looked at it on Teachable, and it has a number of pairs. But how many pairs realistically do you follow on it?
I follow all of these. So I follow all these that are here. They're about one, two, three, four, five. I think there's about 22 or 24 pairs here. Before, there used to be more. I used to follow like 40 pairs. So what I did was I went through all of my watch list before, and then I took off the pairs that had too wide of a spread, because that
Yeah,
was when I was trading the 30-minute chart. You can't scalp if your spread is too wide. So that's
okay,
why I stopped trading those. But what I realized from other members who trade like exotic pairs, they trade like the peso, they trade like the Turkish
yeah,
lira, they trade stuff like that. This strategy actually works a lot better on those assets because they're less manipulated. They're not like, the news doesn't affect it very much. So
okay,
I don't have them on my watch list now, but if you want to go back and maybe back test yourself with
yeah,
the popular exotic pairs, if your broker carries it, I think you could be very, very profitable that way as well.
yeah. No, I'm with IC Markets, so they cover a lot of the exotic markets anyway.
Nice. Yeah. I think I might start looking into those as well, because those are more of a, swing trades to hold. If I'm going to take them on my personal account, I can probably take them and just let them pretty much run. But the cool thing with this strategy is that it works for pretty much anything. It works for all of the Forex pairs. Even when I analyze like gold, it's surprising how well it works for gold as well.
I know, but gold is scary.
Yeah, I personally don't trade gold because it's the most manipulated asset. Everyone knows where it's going to go, and it's not usually going to go in that direction. So for me, I like to stick with Forex pairs, and obviously US 30. That's my favorite. So
But I think looking at the trades that have came through on the alerts, what your trading is, and I mean that if the Aussie dollar there that it came down, it is going to hit TP at some stage.
yeah, exactly, and that's why I like to focus on these specific pairs, because I can correlate them. Like you can see, like for mine, they're all in alphabetical order. So if I wanted to look at the AUD pairs, I just go down the list and I can see that they're all bullish. So that gives me the extra confluence, with this first, like the zones, on top of that, the momentum from the signals. And then lastly, using the confluence with regard to the specific currency that you're trading. It's like a triple confluence right there. And then if you want to look at sentiment, you can do that as well. And it just gives you like the full, round picture when
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
analyzing it.
Um, do you mind sharing then those pairs, and then I can go and look at them?
Oh, for these right here.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. So if you go on the Teachable, let me go to the thing real quick. You can download the watch list there. Let me go here real
Oh,
quick.
yeah, that's why I did look at that today, and I wasn't sure whether. That's why I said I'd ask the question whether it was an older version or whether it was up to date.
Oh yeah, let me go check. Let me see if it's updated. I think it's pretty much the same thing, but let me just check again. I don't think I've changed it since then. I think what I did was I just took off a couple. So let's see.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's what I had. Yeah.
Yeah, everything looks the same on there. I think the only difference was so Australian. Yeah, I think the only difference is that I don't trade gold, so I don't have it on this watch list here. But since people
Yeah.
always ask me, like I started to add other pairs here because people ask me to analyze it.
Yeah.
So I added silver, gold. I think this is gold for the US and then gold for the euro, and then the indices are the same, I believe.
Yeah, the indices are.
Yeah, so the only difference that I added to here was gold. Oh no, gold is here actually. It's on the bottom. I just rearranged
Yeah,
it.
see it there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the watch list is still here. If you want to download it, you just click on this right here, and
Yeah,
then
no problem. Yeah, I done that this evening. Said that before I came on. I said I'd do
on.
that and have a look at it, and just to double check so it doesn't waste your time either. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, no, definitely, yeah. So you have the current watch list. It's just that mine is a little. I changed the arrangement from Forex to gold, and then below there the indices and then crypto, just
yeah,
so it's in order because it's like it's in the order of like how I look at the pairs. So
yeah, that's
um,
cool.
everything else should be
Um,
there.
no, really, that's it. The only thing that I wanted you to look at was just if you could look at sterling dollar
Oh
just
yeah,
to
let me pull that
see
up.
uh, on the
Yeah. So
forward. Yeah, no, I'm happy enough. I'm even happy enough looking at your chart there. There was a lot of zones on the 4 hour.
oh yeah, there's a lot of zones here. That's why when there's a lot of zones like that, it becomes very risky for you to trade it. Like right here, I think the zones are still proper. The uh, the only
Oh,
problem with GU
yeah,
here is this drop right here was due to news. So I'm not sure if
yeah.
you're following the U.S. news. There's a lot of madness going on here in the U.S. You know?
No, no, it's crazy. No, I
Yeah.
follow it. It between social media and television and TV. CNB and CNBC and Bloomberg and Fox News. We get all of those there the same as you get them. So
Yeah, everyone's covering it. So like right here, this wasn't supposed to drop. You know, obviously you can see this is a manipulated candle. You can see it dropped super heavily, about 140 pips or 130 pips. You know, that doesn't normally happen
yeah,
uh, between that time. And on also there was a lot of other news too. So I think this morning there was the unemployment information for the U.S. dollar,
yeah,
and it just doesn't make sense because this the number is so bad. You know, it's negative 123. This means that we lost over 123,000 jobs in the
jobs.
U.S.
Yeah, yeah,
But for whatever reason, it's manipulated, pushed the U.S. dollar down. Right? It doesn't make sense because if there's no jobs, the U.S. dollar, usually it should be weak because the
yeah,
economy is not doing well. So that's why I think this was a manipulated move where there were so many people that were long. They had buy positions here for GU, that what happened was they spiked price down to pretty much shake everybody out before it ends up going, right back up.
yeah.
So
And that's a typical market maker's move. Like,
exactly, yeah. So like for this situation, I wouldn't be upset that I would. Luckily for me, I closed out of my position before bedtime because I took the trade here and then I went to bed around midnight. So around here, I actually exited the trade. So I closed
yeah,
out my profit around here for like 30 pips, and then I went to sleep. I woke up and then this happened right here where it dropped down. And unfortunately for some people, they got stopped out if they were holding it, but it just happens.
yeah,
It's
but
the way
that
the market moves.
but that's okay if the risk level I mean, if they risk 10% of their account, yes, I feel so. It's a tough thing to take. But I mean, if they're risking 1 or 2%, it's not going to kill their trading account.
Oh yeah, definitely nothing because even if this hits stop loss, odd cat hit full TP. We had a lot of full TPs, I think, over
Yeah, sure. There
time.
was a sterling New Zealand dollar yesterday evening hit as well. You had a lot of successful trades since Monday.
Exactly. Yeah. Since Monday, I think we might have had maybe 5 or 7 full TPs. So like, yeah, like you said, if you're risking,
Yeah,
1% per trade, you would be up 7%. And then this one loss would just knock
one
it down
loss.
by one.
Yeah, it that to me, to be honest with you, is just a no-brainer. And the other thing about it is that, okay, if somebody wants to risk 2%, once it goes up to first TP, then they can take off. They can
Mhm.
have two positions. Take off the first TP at 50%, and even if they want to hold the original trade, even at the stop loss and full take profit, it's only a 0.5% loss.
Exactly. Yeah. I've seen like some people when they take like instead of taking one position and just moving stop loss, they take multiple positions. So we'll have TP1, which we have a very high probability of hitting TP1. It almost always hits. So they take a higher lot size for TP1, and then for TP2, they have a smaller lot size. And then for the full TP, they have half of that lot size. So instead of having to move their stop loss, they just hit TP1 for a nice profit, big chunk, and then TP2 they can hit that as well. And then obviously if it goes to full TP, then they have the top off the profit like that.
Yeah, well, that doesn't seem to be a bad strategy either. Then.
Yeah, it's not that bad because for us, the win rate's so high for TP1, TP2. I think, if we were only to count, if we were to count every single trade like TP1, TP2, our win rate would probably be well over 85%, way high. But if you're counting it the way that I am with just one position, obviously it's going to be lower because we hit multiple TPs per time. So it's a good strategy too if you're able to manage it. But me personally, I don't like to manage too many positions at once. Sometimes you forget about a position or you forget to
Yeah,
set a stop loss for one, and then all of a sudden your account is destroyed because you haven't paid attention to it. And it increases risk if you take more than 1 or 2 positions at once.
yeah, absolutely. And looking at GU on the 10-minute time frame, there's a lot of movement on cable at 2 hours, literally between 6 a.m. and the open of London at 8 a.m.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely.
be really 10 p.m. for you guys and 12 p.m. Okay, so if you look back there at on the 10-minute strategy on the 10-minute time frame there, you can see the moves based on the support and resistance of those levels.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it looks like you can actually make a strategy out of that too, like a rejection off it, like market opens, rejects off the support, and then you write it up.
Yeah, but definitely you can take the next. You can take the next buy signal. It even works reasonably well on a 5-minute chart, believe it or not.
Surprisingly, huh, for a pair like this. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah, when you look at it on 5 minute now, it's a scalping strategy more than anything. But for somebody that maybe has maybe 2 or 3 hours or whatever they can sit and take 0.5% risks or something off scalping, like not 1% or 2%, they could take 0.5%.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Because like right here, midnight, you can take the first signal, write that to the
Yeah,
structure, for maybe 15
yeah,
pips.
that's your target. Your target is the structure, and then okay, you need to lock in or manage your risk at that stage. But basically, between those zones, there is opportunities.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And
I
if you go back go back there to 10 p.m. your time, okay, and you have a 5 minute, then you have a signal, a break of the structure.
Oh yeah, definitely from right here. Yeah, we have the buy signal, break structure. You can probably ride this up for a scalp. And then again, market opens, comes back over here, take this down for a scalp.
Yeah,
Rejection off this point, buy signal right there, take this up for a scalp. Yeah,
yeah,
you can take it in both directions. Like you can make some nice money off this just scalping it.
yeah, and that's basically on a 5 minute chart. Now you have to be quick and in and out, like, but you're getting a lot of confirmation when you have the indicators and the 4 hour zones, which are uh, naturally they're heavy resistance and heavy support areas.
Definitely, yeah. That's why I always draw them on the 4 hour. A lot of people wonder why I draw them on the 4 hour, but I think 4 hour is like a good sweet spot for intraday trading. They don't change too often. They probably change maybe every 3 days or so. That's why usually I'll draw my zones on Sunday and then I'll recheck again on Wednesday to redraw them a second time to see if there's any updates if the market has been moving, quickly during that week.
Yeah, and that's one thing that can happen regularly with cable, because it does actually uh, move, between Brexit and the American situation.
Yeah,
It's
it's like we're both going to shit,
yeah,
basically. Seems like.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, um, as a neutral and Irishman here, it's easy for me to say yes, both countries are going to shit. But
Yeah, you guys are away from everything. You don't have to deal with it.
well, the only thing we have to deal with is Northern Ireland with Brexit, because um, of a border situation. So, but they seem to have got their act together, and hopefully it works out. Like, but yeah, it's unprecedented times with COVID, and yeah, and sure, look, I'm forgetting all about the pandemic as well. We put that into the mix, um, and it's serious. And if we can make money now in these situations,
And imagine after once everything goes smooth, it's I can only imagine how good the market's going to be once everything smoothens out. Our profits are going to be insane.
yeah, I think, to be honest with you, and it'll be probably a lot easier and smoother ride on, say, even the US 30. I mean, today was exceptional. Yes, it blew through it, and other times, but at least you can take your trade. Your trade doesn't work out, move off, and you know tomorrow's another day.
Exactly. No, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think once COVID is over, we'll be able to catch trades a lot easier because we won't have any manipulation in the market. I mean, there'll always be manipulation, but it's not going to be all of a sudden you're in your trade and then 1 second later it spikes, opposite way. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the analysis there and probably in fairness to the guys on the UK 100 as well, I think that uh, if there's a few tweaks or a few additions or a few ideas or a few variations, um, I think if the market moves smoother, I think maybe those opening period times on the 10 minute, there may not be as much of a backlash. It'll make its mind up in what direction it's going to go, and it'll probably head in that direction instead of this morning. Like, it's not nice for any guys to be putting up to call their trades and two of them fall, like, but in 2 days in the trot. But uh, tomorrow they could hit TP 60 pips, and sure,
yeah, and
today and yesterday,
everyone will
today
forget
and
about the loss.
absolutely, today and yesterday's losses are history.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah, so
that's what it takes with with the people in the group, people who have been around long enough, they know that the wins come and go. But the people that are new who just come in right away, that's where they get confused, what's going on.
yeah, but I think, to be honest with you, there's a lot of live streams now on YouTube, and I think it's very, very difficult sometimes for people to, they step on to maybe Roger Banks, and their strategy is good. And they look at that. To me, to be honest with you, I looked at it, and I just kind of felt that, there's a lot of fill in the wicks and this, that, and the other. That's okay if you're very good at patient and sit there and fill the wicks and take your trades. I think it's very profitable as well. But I like when I was, because I was on his one and I came across another one and then I came across yours, and I mean I haven't looked at any of the other guys' live streams since.
Yeah, like for me, I like to keep it very simple. I've a lot of people have come from different live streams as well, and they mentioned that a lot of the other ones are a little more complicated because they trade, strictly off price action. They don't have like tools like how we have the SRM
Yeah,
that
and to me, to be honest with you, there's a lot of misinterpretation on it. Or like you can put 10 people sitting in a room with 10 screens, and they'll see 10 different things on price action.
exactly, yeah, and that's why I created the indicators so I could take away that confusion. Because the thing is, you can still draw these zones, without the indicator. The problem is how accurate are those zones? Because you can put a zone anywhere, literally. Like any of these swing highs can be a zone, but with my indicator, I was able to, put together some code where I can identify the strong zones, the zones that are actually tested
Yeah,
uh, in the past versus just you looking at where the swings are and stuff like that.
yeah, but like how simple can it be to then just take the US 30 strategy and look at it, okay? And luckily, I came across you that day just before you were about to take a trade on the US 30, which is your normal trade now. And I
Mhm.
looked at it, and that day in particular, I think it was early in December, maybe the first week of December or whatever. And I signed up to your to this subscription. I'm not sure when, but I think it was a week later, and
Mhm.
only because I didn't get the chance to see. I had to go. I was busy with business, and then I had to look back, go through your previous um, your previous webinars or your previous live streams, and then I kept looking at it and looking at it. And then when I got the indicator, I said I have to get the indicator. And then when you were offering the 60 or 50 or 60 quid dollars for the trial, I said, sure, it's a no brainer. I can get it. I can look at it over the Christmas as well, you know. And it's good then to be able to look at it when there's actually very little going on in the markets as well. So, and it was working. And then I was, as I say, I was picking out. I went through all of your teachable videos.
Mhm.
I put points down and log things down that basically, for me, from a visual point of view, it's just given me more confidence in what way to read the chart.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that's what it really is. With trading, there's so many strategies and they all work. The main key is if you believe in the strategy or if you have the confidence in it. And like for me, since I come on every day and I apply the same strategy, I never change anything. It's always the same thing. It gives everyone confidence that, this actually works because it actually hits, day in, day out, every single day. Uh,
Yeah,
and definitely, yeah, with the US 30, that's why I've gravitated towards US 30 because like one US 30 win can cover maybe like a whole week of Forex trades in some instances. Uh,
yeah,
and it's a lot easier. I like to take my trade in the morning, and then after that, I can go on with my day, come back, and do it again the next day. Makes it very easy.
yeah, exactly. And from the, I like the situation where, you know, no trades on a Friday is a very good habit to get into.
Yeah, no trades on a Friday, and usually not on Sunday either, unless they look very good. Because usually, like on Sunday, stuff hasn't stabilized yet. That's why we're usually slow on Sunday, and then even Monday in some cases. But yeah, definitely Friday. I don't like to trade, and I like that FTMO has that requirement in because it's forced me not to trade. Because a lot of times in the past, I've made a lot of profit Monday through Thursday, and then Friday I lose all of it because I make
Yeah,
stupid trades.
but and that's that, and that was leading me to the point of that, you know, you were actually showing live FTMO trading accounts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when somebody is putting themselves out there to show their trades, you've 200, you've 200,000 with FTMO now. You have the strategy based on the US 30. You've um, and you're doing the third one. Well, that then has to give confidence to people to say, well, okay,
Oh,
why
yeah,
do you need to
definitely.
why do you need to be looking at other stuff? And it really has. I mean, I put a comment in your chat there. It was a day or a couple of days ago where you talk the talk and walk the walk, which is 100%. Like, that's
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that's the thing with the strategy. Like for me, I give you guys all the tools. I show you exactly what I'm doing. With a lot of other people, when they teach, they don't show you everything. They show you a piece of what they're doing. But in reality, there's other thought process that goes into it. And that's why not everyone has the same success. But with us here, we're all applying the same thing. So, if I lose, you lose. If I win, you win. So it
yeah,
makes,
and I think and it was probably refreshing in your stream today to say that you fucked up last night by trading strategy in US 30 in
yeah.
Asia, like to the tune of 7 grand. That happens, and it's refreshing to realize, yeah, okay, well, yeah, we won't be doing that one again.
Yeah, exactly. Like for myself, I've always told myself I'm not going to trade during Asia session, but sometimes you just get, you have that need. You're like, oh, I want to trade. So I took the trade. Unfortunately, I lost, but I understood the risk. So I took that loss, and then good thing we won today, so I can make that all back. So it's basically
That's it.
back to
But I
this.
don't know. I would steer away from the US 30 on the Asian session if I was you. But there probably is a currency pair that you could scalp off of. Um,
Oh yeah, definitely. Or I don't know if you've ever looked at the Nisei. So there's an indice for Japan as well. I
oh
have,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's
I haven't looked at it, but I don't know if it works well or not. I would have to do my own testing on it, but it's maybe something that I might want to look into. But again, like I personally don't like to trade all day, so maybe I'll just hold off on it. This will probably be just another idea for
well,
other
but I
traders.
think yeah, but I think that you see, as your stream gets larger, and hopefully it will over the next 12 months, you will be attracting a lot of Asian clients as well. Um,
Hmm.
you know, people that will not be able to trade the London session, or they'll trade the London session, but they won't be able to trade the New York session, or vice versa, or whatever. Um, so to have something for them, maybe on the, as you said, the 225, the Japanese index, um, it might be, it's worth back testing. It's worth looking at as well. But focusing at the moment on FTMO is very good, because I mean you're having a very good success rate.
Definitely, yeah. Maybe at some point I might even start my own funding company at that point. Because the thing is, I'm making FTMO money by giving them, these trades when we can just do it within our own. So maybe at some
And
point
how does that work, Shawn?
to create your funding company.
Yeah,
Like for like a lot of people don't realize that they give you a 100K account, but you know how you're limited to 10,000, right? So
yeah,
in reality, it's not really a 100,000 account. It's more so a 10,000 account, but high leverage. So you're realistically only have 10,000. That's why they have the max limit at 10,000, but you
yeah,
have the possibility to make more profit. So uh, in reality, it doesn't really cost that much money to fund people, but a
yeah,
lot of people, they have that illusion that they think, oh, I'm getting 100,000, right?
yeah,
Realistically, you're not. You're only getting about 10,000. But it works in our favor because you're not risking your own money, right? When you're not trading your own money, you don't have that fear. You don't have the mental holdback where it's holding you back to take these trades without even thinking about it. But since we're trading for FTMO, we're able to, just take the trade and then just let it be. But yeah, in the situation where if I wanted to create my own, prop firm or something like that,
yeah,
it doesn't take that much money. It takes a decent amount of money, but depending on how many traders you have, and then also for FTMO they charge, you know, the challenge fee. Majority of people fail at FTMO. They've even, I think they've admitted it, that there's only like less than 20% of people that actually pass FTMO.
Oh
And
yeah, it's only 1 in 5 passes. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's only so many people that pass, and then on top of that, it even gets smaller because once people get funded, they get too overly confident. You know, they want to take too much risk. They go off the track, and then at that point, those people end up failing. And then in the end, it ends up being mostly just K2 members or that are applying the same strategy for the FTMO basically.
Yeah, but the FTMO are on a win-win situation.
Yeah, for them it's a win-win because
Yeah,
they make money from so many different aspects. They make money from the challenge fees, people that don't pass, and then they also make the money from actual traders who actually know how to trade. Uh,
yeah,
so yeah, that's definitely, maybe at some point that's maybe something that I would want to look into. And then maybe I can even just, you know, teach people how to trade these strategies for each session. Like we have the US 30 for the US session, and then we have the UK 100 for the London session. And then maybe if I can figure out a way to figure out an Asia session asset as
yeah,
well, I think that
yeah. Because that is that's what I was saying there. Like if your clients grow and your subscriptions grow on YouTube and it gets out there further, with so many likes and everything like that, um, you will be picking up Asian clients as well. Like, you
definitely, yeah.
know,
We actually have a couple in the group. We have a couple that are like from Singapore, a couple from Korea, and some from Japan. And they get up early in the morning, so they, or their time opposite from us. They're up very
yeah,
late so they can trade the US session with us because the money's good. You know, if the money's good, you and your profits are hitting consistently, it'd be no reason for you not to want to change your sleeping habits to trade with us. But yeah, I do agree that at some point maybe I should find an Asian asset that people can trade because it looks like it could work definitely with this.
well, I think, yeah, I think realistically you could put that those indicators on any chart. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm not saying that it doesn't work on Bitcoin, but you want balls of steel to trade Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, definitely. For Bitcoin, I'm just buying and holding. I'm not actively trading it. It's been pretty good. I think I deposited like 400 in it. I think I'm like up to like maybe 1700 at this point. It's
Yeah,
it's been phenomenal how it played out. I'm shocked that it even went that high, but you're right. You know, you need some balls of steel to trade Bitcoin because I don't know how high it's going to go.
yeah, nobody knows. Yeah, but it's yeah, it's interesting to see the different, the rationale towards people that are putting money into Bitcoin or whatever. Uh, it's
Yeah,
market driven. That it's a popular thing to do now, and generally what something like that has, when everybody's jumping in, it's time to jump out. Unless you're a long term holder.
exactly. Yeah. You know, I'm possibly thinking about jumping out at some point because the thing with Bitcoin is, like you mentioned, it's a popular asset. So like whoever has the most Bitcoin, when they decide to sell off, it's
Oh
going
yeah, they're just going to dump the market. Yeah,
it's going to dump the market. Yeah. Whoever has like maybe 100 Bitcoins, if they if they sell it off, they're going to drop the market. And then what happens when they reach down there? They're going to rebuy again. They'll make
yeah,
it.
absolutely. I mean,
And they'll
it's what I used to say to some of my mates here. It's a Donald Trump tweet once you know what he's going to tweet.
exactly. You know, I think that's probably what happened here too. Like we had, I think on the 4th, 2 days ago, it dropped quite a bit Bitcoin, and then it shot right back up. I'm sure whoever had like maybe 100 Bitcoins, they sold all the Bitcoin, and then they just bought it back at a discount once it was dropped.
Yeah, and I'd safely say, Shawn, as well, that even if you look back September time, you look back, any time that when it was down what we class as low, and when in March as well, when the pandemic came, I mean, whoever those guys just dumped that, sold it, and they know exactly what they were doing. Get down so far, and then they bought and they bought and they rode it the whole way back up, and now look where it is.
Exactly. You know what's interesting? I started to notice that if we use that new strategy that I was talking about, it actually works.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is yeah, you can make a lot of profit off this, off the buy. Pretty much every time it dips, you can just catch it when it corrects back up.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you
Uh,
have to have it. You have to have an exit strategy on it, though. So
Oh,
you
yeah, no,
can.
definitely. Yeah, probably have your stop loss at like the swing. So whenever it drops down,
Yeah,
this
it has given, and there will be a tremendous sale at some stage.
definitely, yeah. The problem with my Bitcoin is I'm using like it's not a normal broker, it's just like a wallet. So the problem with that is I can't set a stop loss. So I need to pay
You need to buy
attention
it
to
instead.
it. Yeah, I need to set alerts in some areas so that I can possibly, exit if it ever drops too far down.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. But I think, to be honest with you, looking at nobody knows what's going to happen with regards to the monetary policies, and whether it's going to be fiat currencies, or whether it's going to be cryptocurrencies, or whether it's going to be backed by hard assets, gold or something like that. Whether it'll never really go back to gold, because it'll stop the speculators with regards to lending policies that may change everything. Um,
Exactly. I think this year is going to be very impactful on, the currency market in general with regard to real currencies, cryptocurrencies and, other commodities like gold. Because I think with
yeah,
policies getting rolled out, it's going to have an effect on it.
and I think also then, with fact is that with the pandemic, it has given them another valid reason, another in their validity, to try and bring the world to a cashless society.
Exactly. No, I agree. But you know what's weird? Like XRP, the Ripple, that was supposed to be the other high asset as well for cryptocurrency because I think that was the one that was able to process a lot faster. I think PayPal was going to start using it, but after that lawsuit, I don't see it recovering for like the next maybe 2, 3 years.
Yeah, well, you see, that's it. Those guys were obviously playing in the grey areas,
Mhm.
and they got caught. Um, and I would have thought XRP Ripple would have been one of it, because I think even Microsoft and a few of those were involved in some parts of it.
Oh yeah, definitely,
You
100%.
know, I think that it was going that if the banks were going to side with any of the cryptocurrencies, I thought that they would side with Ripple from the payment point of view, because it was, seemed to be more acceptable than Bitcoin.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. I mean, I guess
But
we'll have to wait and see how it plays out with this year or the next couple of years.
yeah, absolutely. Just one final thing on it was, the the main thing for me at the moment is to do the FTMO, okay, and
Mhm.
then look and follow the zone strategy based on those uh, the pairs that you have in the PDF.
Mhm.
And I think then that, on my personal account, then what I can do is I could risk 1% on those trades and just concentrate then on the FTMO to try and get up the money regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
That's the same thing I do.
even yeah, even Shawn though, like if you get up to 300k and you're consistent with it, FTMO anyway will increase after 4 months. They'll increase it by anything up to 25%.
Exactly. Yeah. So for your FTMO, if you say you have 300,000, right, and then you don't have to to withdraw all of your funds. So say if you have 300,000 and then you leave maybe 50,000 in there, you withdraw whatever is left over, and then you grow that to maybe 400,000. At that point, you can request that they increase your account size. So from there, they'll increase it so that instead of having 300k, you'll have like 400k, and then you just keep increasing, 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 and they'll let you scale up from that point. So
Yeah,
it becomes a win-win for you because if you end up doing that, you'll never really need to risk your own money. And the split is not bad. 70/30 is not bad at all. A lot of people will argue that if you have that much money, you should trade your own account. but in reality, it's going to change the way that you trade. Like for me, if I was trading US 30, I'm not going to be risking 2,000 per trade. You know, it's
No,
I'm going to
no,
feel that. I'm going to feel that if it hits a stop loss, I'm really going to feel that loss. But if I'm doing it for FTMO, it doesn't really affect me that much because
no, and that's I think another thing that works in FTMO's favor, that they will attract proper traders as well, because they, they, there are the parameters you can't trade on it. Your trades has to be closed out by a certain time. You can't trade in crazy news. You know what I mean? They don't allow you. They'll send a message to say FOMC. There was a message came in there to say the FOMC was in whatever 20 minutes or in a half an hour or whatever it was. They won't let you trade in that period of time.
exactly, yeah, and it forces you to trade like professional. You know, a lot of people they are upset with these requirements, but the requirements are there for a reason. You know, they're not just there to prevent you from profiting. They're there to prevent you from losing most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you kind of, I think what fails a lot of traders is that, okay, they could have 100,000 personal money to manage, but they can actually turn around and say, "Oh, I can let the capital go down to 90,000. You know, I can let it go down to 80,000 because I know I can get it back." But then it becomes a situation where the lot sizes changes and people start to see things on the charts that are not there. Where we, from my experience, and that's been my experience as well, over trading, over leveraging, and looking at the chart and hopping maybe from system to system.
Exactly. No, 100%. I agree with you 100% with that. Because that's what happens with, like, I was me in the beginning too. For me, when I was first learning, like I never had a mentor, I never had a course. Because when I first started trading, I had no money. You know, I was broke
Yeah,
looking for a way to make money. So for me, I was going from system to system. And that's kind of how I created this system. Because what I did was I picked the best parts from each system that I learned. And then I made it into like a super system, basically, you know, the K2 strategy. And, you know, with that said, all is history at that point. uh, it's been really beneficial that I learned the hard way, because now I'm able to figure out what's good. Like I can see what's good and what's from bad. So whenever people bring other strategies to me, like you know, today, like when we discussed the new strategy that we were looking for, I'm able to identify, you know, what's good and what's bad from it. So
yeah,
it definitely helps.
yeah, that does help, and the fact is that you know, if people, if more in the group are trading FTMO, um, and they're following the same uh, strategy, and then somebody says, "Well, look, I went and I traded whatever, went on scalping strategy," and then someone would say, "Well, why did you do that when you were up X amount?" You know,
Mhm.
it does bring people back to reality, kind of as a group, where you can actually just go back and you can put the message up and say, "Hands up, I fucked up," like, you know, and
Exactly.
you'll get people that'll say, "Yeah, it's a mistake, but tomorrow's another day, or in the next 2 or 3 days, or, you know." But if you're following a strategy that you have based on indicator and a certain amount of parameters, you're not actually, the risk to reward is a lot better, and the probability is higher when you have an indicator and somebody else looking at the same chart at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Because the thing with us is we're looking at the same thing, and there's no room for subjectivity. You know, like if the signal's there, the signal's there. There's no like, oh, I see a signal, but this person doesn't see a signal. So there's always that.
Yeah, and even from the situation, from point of view, like, I mean, if you're away on vacation, or you're off for birthdays or weddings or whatever, the, you know, or for personal reasons or whatever,
Mhm.
um over time somebody will be confident enough to be able to go on to the chart and do what you do in your absence. You know what I mean? It's it there will be enough capable people out there that will be able to do that, and take a session for you, or be on the chat, even if they don't know live session, but if somebody's on the chat then, um, and you see the trade, when people will be just, it'll give them a bit more confidence in it later on, that they're well able to drive the car rather than having you driving the car the whole time.
Exactly. No, definitely. I agree with that 100%.
You know, it's easy to rely on somebody, but basically what I found from looking at your stuff in the last 2 or 3 weeks is, you really are trying to teach people how to fish rather than fishing for them. Like, and I support what you were saying about, I think it was yesterday's webinar about, or the day before, about the alerts.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
I've had a lot of issues with the alerts. It's funny because people complain if you win, they'll complain if you lose. So for me, I'd rather teach them so that they understand, why we're winning, why we're losing, so that we don't get those complaints. So I mean, it's going to be a double-edged sword. A lot of people got upset when I said I was going to take off the alerts, but I'm really trying to teach people. Even if I was to take off the alerts, I would still give trades. I give trade ideas so that people can see. But you get what I'm saying. It's a double-edged sword doing alerts.
yeah. Well, I don't. I think you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Um,
Exactly.
but I do think from your own personal point of view, that over time it will become a natural progression that you can give out some signals. But I mean, I think even there yesterday when you were giving out the couple of signals for, I think it was either GU or AU or NZD or I forget, and you have your tool on trading view that has 100 pips and 100 take profit, where you actually have said, and you're right, that if you have to come back to 150 pips and you're still only risking 1%, it just means your lot size is lower.
Exactly. Yeah, the risk percentage is more important. A lot of people get upset when the stop loss is wide, but the stop loss is there for a reason. It's there because that's the swing. That's where it's supposed to be. Some people just don't understand that, and it's
Yeah.
frustrating. But I'm glad that some people do understand. Like the people that really want to understand, they'll learn. They'll learn and they'll understand what I'm talking about. But for some people that just want to copy signals, it's a different story. They just want to win. They don't want to lose, and it's just like you said. I'll be damned if I do it. I'll be damned if I don't. So there's really no getting around it.
Yeah, that's it. No, no, look, there's no easy way to do that. And I suppose, to be honest with you, the flip side of that is that it does allow people to hop onto your live session, get the analysis, take a trade, as long as they're risking their account, managing it correctly. They can make some money, and maybe that money is the difference between them taking an FTMO challenge and not taking it.
Exactly. No, definitely. Yeah, and
You know,
FTMO is very it's very lucrative and it's very beneficial, but a lot of people they don't see that. It just really depends on who's using it and who's not.
yeah, but I think, like as we said there before, okay, yes, most people don't realize that FTMO are not giving you 100,000 to trade; they're giving you 10,000.
Hmm.
10 to 1 leverage really on it, to be honest with you, 100 to 1, but so it is 100,000. But what's your opinion on, like I see markets they can give anything up to 500 to 1 leverage.
Yeah, if that's the case with IC markets, then because I've heard of IC market and I've wanted to use it myself, but they don't accept US clients. If that's the case where because I know they're regulated, that's the main problem why I don't want to go very heavy with my deposits or, with my funds for Hugo's Way because they're unregulated. But if that's the case with IC markets, you can probably use that as like your personal account and you could be fine with it and not really worry about it. Like
Yeah,
what I use FTMO for is as a vehicle. You know, I use it to make money to put into my personal account to trade bigger lot sizes on my personal account. It's not like the end all be all, like because we don't know how long FTMO is going to be around for. You know, they can uh, give up their business at some point, or some lump sum lawsuit can come up and they might have to shut down at some point. So
yeah,
if you're able to use IC markets, I think that's a good broker to use. And they measure it the same way as FTMO. I think they use mini lots as well. So the lot
they
sizes,
do. Yeah,
yeah, the lot sizes translate over to that broker. So I think that's good if you can use IC markets. For me, I'm still looking for a reliable broker here in the US. But I think meanwhile, I'm fine with just using FTMO at this time because I use a Forex.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, I use
there is.
Forex.com for my Forex. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is. Oh, look at when you're talking to different people, they tell you lots of things. But there's a guy in India, and he gets US clients. He
Oh,
gets
really?
US clients funded with IC markets, and then the payments are processed through Skrill
Oh, okay, okay.
or Neteller or some of those. So
Yeah.
yeah, there are always ways around it that
Yeah, yeah. I
America.
could use like a VPN or something, like locate myself in another country or something like that. Uh,
Yeah, that's exactly how it's done. But they set you up. The way he has done it, he told me before, because I had a few American friends. He says, just tell them. He said, and I can get him set up. And then there's an English bloke I know, and he runs a PAM account.
okay, I see.
Um, but he gets loads of American clients. And I just said to him, well, look, you need just talk to him and see what he can do for you. But I have nothing to do with it. It's got nothing to do with me. Uh, so,
Yeah,
but it's legal in the gray area, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
It's
exactly. Yeah, there was a guy. It was funny. There was a guy that he came into K2. He tried to cause like trouble within K2. You know, he tried to spam the page, and he ended up getting sued for that. He had a PAM account in the UK, and during I think the holidays last year, his account went rogue. Like his PAM account just didn't close the trades, so they lost like millions and millions of euros, and there's a huge lawsuit for that. So once like I read about that, I was like, I don't want to do any of this because that could be me there. Some one
Yeah,
mistake.
no, 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 no. I think like uh, there's a difference between having a PAM account and having say a trade copier or something. You know,
Mhm.
guys have trade copier accounts, and that's okay, and they might have it with a certain broker, and the condition might be that you might have to sign up to that broker, you know, and then through the trade copier, those guys on the trading the master account, they charge a small fee, monthly fee, but they actually make on the spread.
Yeah, for all the trades that are taken.
Yeah, so that it's in their best interest to make sure that they're taking decent trades, but also that the clients are that whoever's on the trade copier um, is making money as well, because it just gives them a higher lot size to trade, and when it's on a big amount of money, they make a good, I don't know what they make. They might make a pip or something on a spread or something, and that's a lot on a big amount, like.
Exactly. No, I agree.
But
Yeah.
that's how they do it, and those guys don't really become unstuck unless that they end up trading badly, and if they're trading badly on a master account, they
It's gonna affect
are risk.
everyone.
Yeah, so I mean, like at the end of the day, they're in the situation where that they lose a lot more than what they gain. So I mean, I don't think it worked, but I mean, think any of those PAMs or MAM accounts or whatever, there, there's always an element of risk in it. There's an element of risk in everything, but if a trade doesn't close correctly, you could be in trouble. The clients are in trouble, and
Exactly.
they're normally, they have to be done with unregulated brokers, because if they're done with the really regulated brokers, if there was a high slippage in it, they'd be caught for the slippage as well. So
Yeah, you can blow the account very quickly.
you blow the account, and you could be a negative.
Yeah.
You could actually owe the brokers. And I mean, the big brokers, um, they wouldn't think twice about coming after you.
Oh, exactly. Definitely. Yeah. And that's one reason why I don't want to do it. A lot of people ask me, why don't I manage accounts, or why don't I run a PAM account? It's because I don't want the responsibility. You know, I feel like when I have a responsibility, it would make me make more mistakes, because I'm going to be more worried about making mistakes rather than, just taking the trade.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, and I don't keep going back to, but that's one of the major plus sides to the FTMO.
Definitely. Oh, wow.
Or
I just looked at
other,
it.
there are other funded ones as well. Like uh, there's a UK company as well, uh, that funds account. Audacity, I think they're called,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but they're slightly different. I think on their commissions, and they need 12 months trading history as well.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen there's a lot of new funding companies that have come up, and a lot of them are just trying to copy what FTMO is doing. So for me, I know FTMO has been around for a long time, so that's why I stick with them. But I've seen like so many new ones that have appeared within the last couple months. And it's funny because some people think that, if they can't pass FTMO, they go to this other one. They think they'll pass there, but it's the same thing. It's literally the
Same
same
criteria. Yeah.
thing.
And some of I mean, uh, Audacity or Audacity, whatever they call it. I mean, they they are thorough as regards. They will check live trading accounts. So they're not. And then you still have to take the challenge, and you still have to get past the challenge, and then to get funded.
Exactly, yeah. And it's they have those challenges for a reason. A lot of people don't like the challenges, but they still have to vet you, make sure that you actually know that trade, and you're not just lucky for that one specific trade. Hmm.
Yeah, but a lot of people go on the trials. The free trials,
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's kind of
and they
pointless.
go on. Yet they go on that, and they stay within the 5% of. Oh, that's at the dump.
Hmm.
Um, they go on to do the challenge and on the trial, and they pass it within 2 or 3 days or 4 days, which are that's no guarantee to success. Like,
Exactly. No, I agree.
but anyway, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, definitely, Brian. It was good talking to you. Sorry, I was looking at my FTMO. I just passed my verification, so I have another funded account.
Good man, congratulations.
Yeah, so I got right here. If you see my screen, I didn't realize I passed it today. I was just right over the profit target for verification. I made 5,220. So I'm gonna get my funded account for this one probably by next week, hopefully. So there goes my goal there. Just from taking the US 30. I look forward to seeing you pass too, because seeing everyone pass, it brings it brings morale to the whole K2 group, because we're all winning. So
Yeah,
I definitely look forward to seeing yours as well. You should be able to get that probably within the next couple weeks or so, if not by next month.
hopefully. I
Yeah.
have a lot of dancing lessons to pay for.
Yeah, definitely. You should probably go catch up with your daughter, right?
Yeah, I have to. It's getting the bedtime now. So, but
Yeah,
anyway, mate, again, thanks very much for that, and I look forward to the live stream tomorrow again.
definitely, Brian. It was good talking to you. Yeah, if you ever want to set up another session, or if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I'll make some time for you.
Yeah, no bother, mate. Yeah, no, I'll bang you through a few. If I ever need anything, what I'll do is I'll send you through a message on Telegram, and then we can answer through Telegram. And if you're busy, then it's no problem. And if you're free sometime, then we can do this again, please.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good. Look forward to it.
All right. Look after yourself.
All right, Brian, I'll see you soon.